Hey guys, it's K-Star again, and this is going to be the final video, I think, for the whole brow tutorial madness. I don't think people knew what they were in for when they asked me to do this. Like, brows are some serious shit to me. Um, I take them very seriously. So yeah, in the last video I showed you how I do my everyday brow look with just one product, just a brow pencil. Super simple, super easy. On this brow, I will demonstrate what I do when I do makeup for like a photo shoot or when I want to do like a serious full face of makeup. Like, sometimes when I go out or whatever, just sometimes when I'm in the mood to do some serious makeup, when I do a serious full face of makeup, like full eyeshadow, contour, highlight, blush, primers, full coverage concealer, foundation, like the full shebang. This is when I do this brow, which is not that often because I'm going to use a lot of products and it's going to be a number of steps. Whereas this was like 3 steps, you know, draw it on, fill it in, blend it out, super simple. This one is a little more in depth. So don't think I do this all the time and I'm like a cake face or whatever. But if you want your brows to be like effing phenomenal, this is what I do. And this is a newer product that I've picked up also from Anastasia. To me, they just make the best brow products. It's called the Brow Genius Kit. And I have mine in medium brown, and I believe it comes in a dark brown as well. And again, NYX makes something kind of like this. It's 2 different color powders that you can use. It's very much more cost efficient. I think this thing is like $24, whereas the NYX one is like maybe $7 or $8. Benefit makes like a brow powder and then like a colored brow wax that I want to say is like $26 or something. Pretty much every line of makeup is going to have some sort of brow product. This one happens to be a powder and gel duo, and it does come with this little instructional thing in here when you buy the Anastasia Brow Genius Kit. It comes with this thing that tells you how they recommend you use the product, which I thought was really nice because actually the way they suggested to use these 2 products together is not how I originally would have used them. But since I read this, it makes total sense what they tell you to do. So I'm going to demonstrate that as quickly as possible. And what I love about this kit is this little tool that it comes with. It has a super thin angled brush and a spoolie on it, and it is quite tiny, but that's okay. When you're using powder brow products, the thinner the brush you can find, like you can see how incredibly thin this brush is. The thinner the brush you can find, the easier your life is going to be. If you get a big old thick angled brush, you're going to have a hard time making a really thin, precise line, and it's just going to make your life more difficult than it needs to be. So I really like the little brush that this comes with. It's a great tool. So the other 2 products that you get is this little thing of powder, and I know this seems tiny for what it costs, but this will last you forever. Like, legitimately, the rest of your life, probably. And then the brow gel, which originally when I got this, I thought this was going to be like a mascara one, but instead it's like a little spatula. And I think why that is because they recommend that you mix these 2 products together to make the sort of brow gel, tinted brow gel that you're going to apply with this little tool, and it works awesome and it stays all day. Also, Makeup Forever makes a product called Aqua Brow, which I do have somewhere. I was looking for it earlier and I couldn't find it in my stash, but it's awesome. It's a brow gel, I guess. It's in a little squeezy tube, like kind of like a lip gloss. And it is waterproof as long as you don't rub it. You can go swimming with it and your brows will stay put. I've tested it. It works. That's a really good one too, that you could easily apply with something like this, and then you wouldn't have to mix these together. The only issue with it is the color selection sucks. They have an ash blonde one, kind of an auburn one, and then a dark brown. And it's pretty dark. It's really dark. And I can get away with it if I use it light-handedly, but it's easy to go overboard with that product. But it's a good one, and then you don't have to mix things together. But anyway, with this one, what you do is you get your little thing. And what I do, you can mix it on like a palette if you have it. I just use the back of my hand. And I just sprinkle some of the powder out on the back of my hand. It has this awesome little flip top thing where you can close it up. And then I just take some of that brow gel. And again, I just stick it on the back of my hand. And then I take my little brush. And I pick up that gel and I just moosh it right into the powder. And I bet some of you guys are watching right now and you're like, oh my god, I can't be bothered to do all that. And that's fine. And again, I don't do this much on a daily basis. Okay, so then I kind of just wipe off my brush on the back of the hand. I don't want to have a ton of product on there when I first go at my brow. So what I'm going to do, let me get my little, and you have to work relatively quickly with this because it will set and it'll be harder to work with. So I'm going to go ahead and comb my brow just how I did the other one. And then I'm going to take the skinniest part of my brush and just swipe it through that mixture that I've made. And we're just going to start drawing the line on. I hope you guys can see this. I have to look in my mirror. Okay. So again, we're just going to draw that line, start about right here, and just draw it on. Alright, and I need a little bit more. And again, we want it thicker, darker towards the tail. Alright, so we've got that first line made. And I'm going to grab a little bit more and go up underneath. Again, if you have a hard time finding that line, see, I put on too much. That's okay, it hasn't set yet, so if you mess up, you put on too much, you just wipe it off. Just wipe it off. It's okay, it's just makeup. Okay, we're going to try that again. Alright, we're just going to draw those lines on, and you want to kind of connect them towards the tail. I'm going to get a little bit more and just start filling them in. And when you first scoop up some product, keep in mind that when you first have loaded your brush with that product, wherever you touch first with that brush is where you're going to lay down the most product. So you want to start out with the parts that need the most filling in. And then as you have less product in your brush, work towards the front. Because just like we did with the other brow, we want it darker towards the tail and lighter towards the front. We want to fade those brows in a little bit to keep them as natural looking as possible. I guess if we wanted them totally natural, we wouldn't be doing all of this, but you know what I mean. This is a little more time consuming. It definitely takes a steadier hand than the pencil. And again, if you go outside the lines, just wipe it off. Okay, so we've got our tail pretty much defined. Hello, focus. So now we're going to work on this inner portion here. So I just want to get a little bit on my brush, not too much. And start as far back into the brow as you can. Like I said, we just loaded the brush. And then I'm going to go down to the edge here and make that line. And my product is starting to set. And if it sets and you need to kind of like reactivate whatever you made, just get a little bit more of that gel. You don't really need any more powder. Just get a little bit more of that gel and mix it in, and it'll sort of reactivate what you made. Okay, so now we're going to go in and do the top. Okay, so we're just going to fill in, and again, instead of packing it on like we did closer towards the tail, we're going to just do little wispy marks like we're drawing on new little hairs. Alright, and just do that until you are happy with how it looks. Alright, and you can see it definitely looks a little bit different than my other brow. Remember, we did this brow with the pencil, and then this one has been with the gel. So to me, this one is a little bit crisper and a little bit darker. And if you're doing a photo shoot, that's kind of what you want. Alright, so that's pretty much that. And then I kind of just let it dry for a second, and I just take that spoolie in and brush through. Make sure we didn't miss any spots. And if they're a little dark, you can kind of move the product through the brow, soften the edges a little bit. And I just want to soften this front part so it looks a little more on the natural side. Okay? So that is that part. And then what I do to kind of perfect the look, and I want to get this crap off my hand before it totally dries. Part of it already has. Kind of a mess. Oh well. What I do, and what you can do, if you do have any stragglers, say you haven't plucked, you've got like a couple, sometimes like the hairs haven't quite broken through the skin yet, but you can kind of see them, take a really light concealer, a really, really light one. And you can either use the Doe Foot applicator if you want to. I just push a little onto the back of my hand and then take a teeny little brush like this. This is just like an eyeshadow brush, but I use it to conceal. And what you're going to do is you're going to go up underneath, like where any of those little straggler hairs might be, and place your concealer. And you want it to be really light because this can also help you highlight your brow bone and really accentuate the brows, really clean them up and make them look really awesome and crisp. And then I just sort of take my finger and tap that in to blend. Okay? So it kind of highlights the area, and it will hide any little rogue hairs that might be giving you some troubles if they're too short to pluck. And you can do the same thing with the top part of the brow, just to really shape and define it. And I really like to accentuate the tails of the brow, so you can go in a little bit heavier in those areas with your highlighting products. So yeah, you just take that concealer basically all around the eyebrow, and then I just use my fingers to blend it in. And at that point you can be done. if you want to, or you don't even have to do that at all if you don't want to. But if you want to further highlight your brow, sorry about that, guys, my computer went off for a second. There's a couple different things that you can do. You can either use a cream highlighter or a powder highlighter, and these have a tiny bit of shimmer to them. So if you want to go a shimmery route, you could use something like this to further highlight your brow. Or if you don't want to do a shimmery one, but anytime you use a cream product, you want to use a powder one to set it. So say you want to keep it nice and matte, I just take that same brush and like wipe off the excess in there. And you can either use a matte eyeshadow, and you can either use like a white one or a cream one. I'll do a white one just to really accentuate it. Tap off the excess, you don't want any fallout. And you just go through and do the same thing but with the eyeshadow. And really blend it out. Blending is your friend, guys. You've got to blend or you look crazy. And yeah, just go over that same area with a matte one. If you want to keep it all matte, you don't want to have any shimmer to it, no little reflect to it. And it really makes your brow look clean, really makes it pop, nice and crisp. Or if you do like shimmer, or you just want to kind of be fancy, this is High Beam from Benefit, just like a little tiny sample of it. You can either use the little brush here to apply it directly to your face, or you can be like me and put some on your hand and pick it up with a brush. And just go in again. And here, we'll do this brow. If you have really hooded eyes, I wouldn't recommend doing a shimmery one. Just because it can bring attention to just how hooded your eye is. But some people like shimmer. And the High Beam is really subtle. But it looks really pretty. And you can just do it like that. Or same thing, you could use a powder one and do a powder one instead. Either or, you don't need to do both. Really, you can if you want. I like to set all my cream products with a powder one, just so I know that they won't go anywhere. The one I have is a MAC one. That was limited edition. They don't make it anymore. But any highlighting powder will do. And again, you just go right up on that brow bone and apply it right under the brow. It just makes them look really nice and crisp and highlights the high points of your face. So obviously, if you're going to do this, you want to use the same product because you can see the difference that it gives you. I feel like this one is a little bit more natural looking and not quite as crisp, whereas this one, very crisp lines, darker, more intense. So yeah, this is the kind of brow I would do for like maybe a photo shoot, or if I did like a lot of really intense makeup. You could always make it thicker or thinner, like to however you like, but that's kind of the more intense version, and then this would be a simpler everyday version. So that's basically what I do with my brows, and wow, this is a long video. Don't know if it'll let me post it all, but anyway, yep, that's all about my brows. That was probably way more information than you guys ever wanted to know about my brows, but that's it. You asked for it. So anyway, I hope this was helpful and at least mildly enjoyable, and I will see you guys later.